Glad to meet you. My name is Marc Howard. I work alongside my brother, Danny Howard. We're the founders of Affirm First. We are passionate about IP protection, digital and non-digital discussions. But Affirm First was set up because we discovered and we knew my background is ladies fashion. I've been involved with ladies fashion all my life. And what we found is that we had shops that was buying from our brands, international brands. People were taking images off the correct customer's website and then putting those images onto the incorrect website and saying they were stockists. It was something that we couldn't stop, something that was causing damages to our regular customers, and they felt that we were double dealing, which we weren't. It was just something we couldn't control. So eventually we thought, well, there must be something we can do about this. We were introduced to some guys who actually have classic cars, and they transfer images between themselves, so they have secure images of classic cars. So once we understood that, we joined them and we worked with them, but we extended the program to fashion. And since then, we have done our own software. And the idea being that we want to protect images online for people who should legitimately hold those images. So that's really, where we have come in. It's been a very tricky journey because actually getting people to understand IP, intellectual property, how valuable it is to have your own property protected. And it is quite hard because people don't understand the actual definition of intellectual property, or IP as we're going to call it. So in this current world, what's going on as part of the discussion, we've seen only this last week that Taylor Swift has been basically had images taken, and then now with the advent of the new things with AI, suddenly we're finding that not only is AI good for the average person, it's also brilliant for the crooks. So that's where we are. We're looking at ways of protecting websites that are owned by people, legally owned by brand owners and personal owners. And this incidentally does go away just from industry. It can also, we can now are able to protect individuals, like people who are listening to this podcast can understand that they actually can also have the same protection as a multinational company can have, but obviously we water it down to a more personal level. So that is where we stand. Affirm First lives its name. The idea is to affirm first what you are looking at online, and how do you know, is it secure online? Is it a genuine website? And how can you, as the viewer, know you're on the genuine website? Again, taking that discussion point we've just had, there are three factors or three areas regarding these three issues. Image control, that's so important. Do you know where your images are going? Do you know who is using those images? How are they using them? Because again, this brings you back to IP, intellectual property. So image control is the first factor. So we can control the images, because the images that we're utilizing on the websites which we are working with means that we can control those images. We can enlarge them, we can shrink them, we can put copyright protection over an image. So if someone clicks on a website, they will see it's copyrighted, they will see, and it can't be drawn off, so that it secures those images. Those images can be transferred around using the Affirm First system. Protection is simple, in as much as we don't want people to be able to take images away. As we talk about the original situation, where I come back to ladies fashion, we want them to take the correct image. We want to know the correct image is used. We know that, and then also by doing that, it protects the IP so that if anybody uses that image elsewhere, and we have tracking devices to find out where that image is being used, and when we have this ability to follow those and track those images, it means that we can actually use that as an actual legal result, so that we can actually cease and desist the images that are being used illegally. So that's the protection side of it. Validation side in this day and age is more and more important. How do you know that you are on the correct website? It's so easy. Oh yeah, I went on this website, I clicked. How do I know I'm on the correct website? The correct details. All these things are very difficult to evaluate. So by using Affirm First, we can validate a website, and we can then, using our system, we will approve websites. So what we're trying to do is to bring trust, and this is the word we use, bring trust back to the internet, so that people can begin to trust what they see and believe what they see, rather than having all of the fraud that goes on. I think we'll come to a bit more about fraud in a few minutes. So we will, if we park this where we are now, and I hope that explains to you about the image control, the protection, and the validation services that we offer here at Affirm First. I think we have to get established what is online fraud, because this is the big area of which we're trying to help and produce some protection against. One thing I have to say, most brand protection industries, and they are reactive. Most of the people that we know, they earn a lot of money from chasing down fake goods, counterfeit goods, online fraud type stuff, where it could be financial or dating agencies, stuff like that. We're trying to be proactive. We're probably the first true proactive organization around. The problem is, a lot of people make a lot of money out of protection and collecting and chasing criminals. But actually, we think that Affirm First is like a car insurance. If you have a car and if you don't get it stolen or you don't have an accident, actually you feel as though you've wasted your money, but actually you've had insurance. In our case, by having this protection, it helps you as a customer or the client to know that there is some way that you're not just going to give up and put your hands in the air and say, I surrender. This is where we are help everybody, not just international companies, which are being totally damaged with ransomware and all these other types of situations. And of course, we're not even touching on that in this discussion, where we're talking about what's going on in dark web world. So this is one of the big things, is we want to help individual people as well as companies. Now, when you look at our prospectus, if you like to put it that way. So we start at the top level, which is the people, large international companies. Then we move down, and it's all based on really how many images do they want to protect. Because you might have some with only maybe 100 images or 50 images on a website, but it's viewed 1 million times a day. So when it comes down to it, it's bandwidth which decides on our costing, plus all the other things which come from running our business, because we can do managed, we can do track and trace, we can load all the images for you. We have a complete system, even make websites. So it's a 100% turnkey operation. Financially, we start with something at the top end where maybe, and it's monthly cost, maybe it could be up to £1,800 a month, maybe £2,000 a month, depending on how much is needed, all the way down to someone who is interested in this Affirm First, as a person, you and me just chatting, £180 a year. So that's like £12, £15 a month. And for that, you would also get your own domain name. So, and we can also help you build, with our partners, you can also build a website to your specifications with people like Ionis, who we are talking to. So it gives you this complete control. So there's no differentiation between a personal website and international company's website. It's the only difference is size and where it's going to be used. And that's what I'm trying to explain here, that the strategy is very broad, it's very accurate, and it is needed. It is so needed. Now, we then look about profitability. Yeah, as with anything to do with software, it's constantly evolving because, again, we've got to try and be ahead of the crooks. And we believe that we are pretty much ahead of the crooks. And as we've said before, crooks are notoriously lazy. They don't want to get caught. They want to take the easy route to get the easy money. And that's where we have come in. So if we can, and then talking perhaps with the Indian government, which we would love to do, because obviously with having settled with Marquee, we feel their whole setup is brilliant and the personnel are brilliant and very helpful. So we really feel that this is something that we should be looking at within the Marquee. We've suggested that we'd like to even become partners through the system with Marquee because it is needed. So yes, financially it's high in profit margin simply because of the fact that it's replication, but so we can make it very competitively priced. Hence, for £180 a year, you're getting a full security system. Incidentally, we can add on other things as well, like we said, which can improve any imagery. So that is where we are. I hope that explains it. I think they're fantastic. And I know it's sort of a bit corny, but having tried to get funding from different sources, the problem is finding organizations who understand the problem. I think this is where Marquee and the team, Manya and the team who have, and Akash, who I've worked with, they're so professional. They understand what we want. I mean, you think about it, we could be selling bananas, we could be selling steel, whatever. But a lot of those commodities people know about. But when it comes down to brand protection and image, and I think, as you know, on LinkedIn, I have over 20,000 LinkedIn clients, whatever you like to call them, partners, who around the world, in every country from around the world, are trying to, how do they protect their IP? So, and I think that working with Marquee has been superb and enjoyable. And even this facility, which we're talking about right now, is not unique, but it's great because it spreads the word. For me, working with Marquee, and just to let you know, we have fully qualified people within our business, and say Danny and myself, we are qualified in our own fields. Financially, we are controlled by people who know what they're doing. That's the reason why we're looking for the money, the ask that we want, not because we want to take lavish holidays or stuff like that. We want to spread the word about brand protection and getting trust online. And in our prospectus, we have a whole list of services that we want to offer, a whole list of procedures that we want to, and software developments that we want to offer. So as two boys from leafy Cheshire, as we said right at the beginning, which is South Manchester, we have partnered very nicely with Marquee. I think the response we've had from people who have heard about us from Marquee has been really good, and we just want to now reach the point now where we can get real solid investments to take us into the next world and achieve what we want to achieve.